Alrighty. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Need just the camera there. Welcome, everybody, to the first stream on the new schedule. I hope Cooper. I'm ready for voiceover. Yeah. I'll get to that soon, but I have a few things I'd like to say first. Thanks for showing up today, Captain. By the way. Um, I was worried that maybe I should have sent out another announcement about the schedule change or something, just a reminder, but I don't know. I'm not sure if that would have been necessary. Um, so I was setting up the Reaper scene in OBS so that I could capture it, and it messed up the MuseScore one. I mean, thankfully we won't need it for a while, but that was really irritating. It kind of made me a little annoyed. Um, but what matters more is I haven't used Reaper in a while, and I didn't really have I didn't really put I didn't really think much beforehand about the whole process of how the stream is going to work. So I'm thinking this is going to be a sort of experimental stream. Um, because I'm not exactly sure how to present um, this kind of thing. Um, I didn't know if maybe I should have started with the writing of the lines themselves. I figured the more interesting part would be actually voicing them, but maybe it might be the opposite. I don't know. But we'll see. Let me move over to Reaper. I also neglected to do any vocal warm ups. Actually, that's kind of not good. Although I have been drinking a lot of water. Excuse me. I haven't done any voiceover anything in a little while. So I kind of forgot the whole song and dance you had to do beforehand. Like, you gotta drink like 2 cups of water a meal, or like 2 whole cups of water like a couple hours beforehand, which I'm pretty sure I did. Obviously, you should probably do some warm ups, which I forgot. Um, and I ate at like 4, and I was hoping that was probably like enough time for everything to digest. For everything to digest, so I'm not like gassy or anything. Do the warm ups. I suppose that wouldn't be a bad idea. It's a little silly looking, but you know, might as well. Again, I guess this is experimental. So, I have this book here, and well, actually, I have 2 books here. So a while ago, I got this book from my folks. When I told them I wanted to do voiceover, and this is a really good book. If you're interested in doing voiceover stuff, this was most of the information in this book was about like, it was more geared towards doing commercials than doing characters, but it had some information. I decided to write down everything in this journal. Um, that was like that I found to be the most useful. So I'm gonna go ahead to flip over to the warm-up section, I guess. Now, there's a number of these. Hopefully this won't take up, like, too much of the stream. It might be, like, 15 minutes or so. Okay, well, the first one, it says you should do body warm-ups. Like shoulders, neck, arms. Because, you know, voice acting is still at the end of the day acting. So, like, the more physical you are when you're talking, you know, as if you're actually acting, the better it should be. But, I mean, I got off work about 6 hours ago. I did a lot of walking. I did a lot of lifting. So, hopefully that should be fine. And I'm voicing a robot, essentially, anyway. Get the blood flowing, arm rotation. Fine. You know what? Whatever. I'm already committing to doing this, so might as well. So, it suggests you start with the shoulders. I don't know if you're supposed to start with the shoulders or not. That's just the order I wrote them in. The book is closing. I don't know. Oops, accidentally pressed a button on my keyboard. I'm not sure if I'm going to like this schedule. I'm pretty sure, like, I feel like I will. But especially for doing voiceover specifically, I find that I need to really focus on not using my voice too much during the day, you know? Okay. Well, this is going to be difficult to do with headphones on, but I need to roll my head around. Yeah, so, like, on my way to work, I like to put music on. And, as a former theater kid, I can't help but try to sing to every single song that comes on. With lyrics or otherwise. And like I was halfway to work when I realized I probably shouldn't do that. I should probably maintain my voice instead. Arm circles, okay. I also might want to be counting these in my head. It's hard to speak and count at the same time, though. Oh, I also don't have much room in here. I guess I'll do this little number here. Ooh, 3D. Look at that. Aren't you immersed? Hold on. Actually, if I open this door, I guess that'll work, yeah. But, yeah, on my way to work, and then the first building I do in the morning is the library. And usually, you know, that's the only time in the day where, like, the whole building is empty. Because it's early in the morning and nobody's there yet. Nobody's there yet. So I also, I guess this should be embarrassing to admit, but I like to sing to myself too when I'm over there. So I had to not do that. Twist, overhead lean, backward arm stretch. I guess that means this. But yeah, so instead I just put on some YouTube video essays so that I had something to focus on. I don't know if this is what it meant by twists. Do one of these numbers. Do the backwards arm stretch. There we go. Well, I feel a little bit more limber already. Let's see. It wants me to touch my toes now. Yeah, this booth was not built for physical warm-ups, unfortunately. You can all see my horrible balance. You know, I took a yoga class once. You'd think I'd be better at this. Okay, well, I didn't take a yoga class. I took an aerial yoga class, which I guess isn't applicable at all, is it? I don't know if you know what aerial yoga is. Hold on. I'm not going to try to talk while I'm down here. I don't know if you know what aerial yoga is, but it's where like you get up in those like hammocks or those like big like fabric hammocks. I think they're called hammocks. And like you twist around and you turn upside down and all that crazy stuff. Took that in college. I wouldn't say I regret it. It was pretty fun for what it was. Facial warm-ups. Okay. Check this out. Have I scared everybody away yet? One thing about reading your own notes is that, like, sometimes you don't know what you mean. Okay. Usually I spend more time on each individual warm-up here, but I'm trying to expedite this so we can actually get some lines recorded. I think I calculated there's around 170 lines. I wrote around 170 lines of dialogue for this project. Some lines may be more difficult to get right than others, but I'm not sure how many streams worth this is actually going to take up. I'd probably guess maybe like 2 or 3. That is, if I don't forget to do my warm-ups every time. Like, see, what is O mouth and wrap the lips around the teeth? Like this? I don't know what that means. Tongue to chin. Let's not try that. Overbite, lift head. Oh, there's a good one. Stretch the neck here. Sorry, counting to myself there. Oh, man. Yeah, I hadn't done that in a while. Ah. Okay. Oh, yeah. Yeah, so, yawning is a really good way to stretch your face. So it'll help warm up your vocal cords, too. Okay, now we can do some vocal warm-ups. All right. You gotta vibrate the lips. Hear that crackle? I make the N sound and N. I swear, guys, this is going to lead to higher quality content. You just gotta get through these first. Mental. You gotta put all the M and L sounds all in one. Mental. Remember to breathe too. You have to breathe from your diaphragm. Which is down here, I think. The trick, apparently, is to make sure that your chest doesn't move. Like, all the movement should be in your lower body when you breathe. You know. You feel it right there. Your diaphragm and stomach should expand when you breathe. And that's when you know you're doing a deeper diaphragm breath. Inhale, exhale with an ah sound. Repeat for different pitches. Simple enough. Ah. I don't know if I sound as funny to you as I do to me. Ah. Ah. I don't I can never tell anymore if your laughter is genuine or not, Captain. Made me laugh though. I guess we should try to what am I talking about? We should try to keep that green bar on the bottom left as even as possible, right? Oval mouth, ah to O sound and back. Ah, oh, ah, oh. Stop typing in chat. I need to get through this. You're making me laugh. Oh, you're gonna love this one. You're gonna love this one. That is the long E sound, right? There's eh and there's e, right? E is the long version, I believe. That's what it says to do. E. All right. It wants me to inhale, then do ah, am, and o, and hold for 30 seconds. If I breathe right, then that shouldn't be too much of an issue. Almost. I couldn't make it all the way. One thing I do for sure know is to drink plenty of water. You can't be too hydrated. And then the last one, it says to sing a song, but I'll spare you. I'll spare you that. Okay. So, now that we've expedited the warm-up process, I'll make sure to do all that beforehand on Wednesday. But now I can actually get to the fun part. So, as the title of this stream denotes, the next project I'm doing for this stream is a fan project in which I am going to be recording lines for a Titanfall OS, or I guess specifically Titanfall 2, like Titan OS that I made up. Why? I like Titanfall. I wanted to do some voiceover stuff, and this is just an idea I had one day that I wanted to expound upon. So I guess I can describe. I think it'll be a good idea to sort of describe the idea I have here. I don't know how many of you guys in chat are familiar with Titanfall, but basically, if you're not, it's a first-person shooter for PC, PS4, Xbox, in which you can. The main gimmick is that you can call down these giant robot mechs to get into and shoot other giant robot mechs with. And in the multiplayer game mode, I actually know what you're talking about for once. Yeah, right. In the multiplayer game mode, there are several different types of Titan chassis that you can use, and each of them has their own operating system voice that goes with it, that gives them a little bit of their own personality. That's what I mean when I say OS. So I, having enjoyed the game myself, I was like to come up with my own, like, if I was to be able to design a Titan for myself, what would I do, and what would they sound like, right? So my idea was something that I don't think has precedent in Titanfall yet, because most of these things are really big. So my idea was like a Titan that's like sort of half the size of a regular Titan. Um, that's focused on um, supporting pilots. Like it's a pilot support Titan. I don't know how well that would translate like practically, but I thought it was a cool idea. Oh, I guess also it's important to mention that pilots are the player characters, like the soldiers you play as. And they can hop around and run on walls and stuff. Uh, Big recommend from me, Titanfall 2. Except, well, it's hard to recommend it right now because it's having issues with like DDoS attacks and stuff like that. Um, but when it's confirmed that that's all settled down, definitely recommend you picking that one up. I'm not endorsed or anything. I just really like it. Um, so my Titan idea is called the Warhorse Titan. It's a like half-sized Titan. It has like this turret on its back that if a pilot jumps onto it, they can get in the turret and they'll be defended from the outside. And you also, as the pilot of the Titan, get like extra firepower. Um, the main weapon of this thing is like the main theme. Although Titans don't really usually have a theme in Titanfall, but this one's theme is sort of like um, cowboy rough rider sort of thing. So they have like this giant Titan-sized like revolver. Um, I suppose explaining the abilities would mean less to somebody who doesn't know what Titanfall is, but I do have these. I had it was necessary that I um, design what abilities this thing has because the lines of dialogue do reference it. So, um, they can shoot out a like a zip line for other titans for other pilots to use that like lasts for a little bit. They can warp out of danger. Um, like when you call down a Titan, it falls down, and then when you get into this Titan, at any time you can choose to warp back to where it fell initially. So that one is going to be called Warp Evac. That's mentioned a few times. Um, their defensive ability is called Barding, and it would project like this big dome shield that travels forward, so that like pilots could run across like battlefields and be relatively safe. And each Titan in Titanfall has an ultimate ability called a core. In order to use this core, you have to deal damage, capture objectives, stuff like that. And the Warhorse's core is called Rally Core to sort of tie into this whole teamwork aspect that it has going on. So when you activate Rally Core, it allows allies anywhere else on the map to teleport to you. And then while they're around you, while the Rally Core is active, they get like buffs. That's the basic idea. So it's really so this Titan is really based around working closely with your team, to get somebody on your turret and to take advantage of your zip lines and understanding if it's safe or not to warp back to your spawn point, stuff like that, and coordinating a push with your rally core, right? So this is a very um, teamwork based Titan. But for the voice itself, I wanted to give it like a cowboy flavor, which probably wouldn't make sense for a military robot, you know. But there wasn't a cowboy yet, and the OS voices do have different, tones and accents. I think one of them has a British accent. Um, so it's not unheard of. But my personal lore backstory for this Titan is that maybe someone on Earth, like this big rancher guy in Texas, he was like, "Well, y'all, why don't we use these Titan things for farming?" And everybody's like, "That's a dumb idea." And then he was like, "Y'all know what? I'm gonna take my Titan design where it's appreciated." And he took it over to, you know, the the frontier where, the war of the game's going on. He's like, "Check out my Titan. It's pretty cool, right?" Um, they're like, "Yeah, can we put a gun on it?" And he's like, "Yes, sir." And then that's where we get the Warhorse from. And I imagine, because he's a Texan, he wanted to make sure that his operating system had the appropriate flavor. So I made sure to try to keep that in mind, while also not making it too over the top, uh, so that it still sounds like it could feasibly be on a practical military grade robot. So I think that's all the introduction we need. Now I need to remember how to use Reaper properly. And I'm gonna be recording these raw. Um, they every operating system obviously has a sort of like voice filter to it, so that sounds like it's coming from a computer. But I plan on doing that after the fact. So, the first the first voice cue is for a friendly on the hull. This is when a friendly pilot jumps on top of you and like hitches a ride. But this is for when they're not using the turret, because there's a distinct one for that. So let me see. I believe there was a setting I would use. Oh boy. For the metronome. Yeah, okay. So I like to have this metronome on. It'll sound like this. Hold on. It'll sound like that. It'll do 2 measures of lead in. I want to stop during recording though. And then I'll record the lines. And now, as I mentioned before, I do already have everything written, so it's just gonna be a challenge of um, recording them. But before that, I've been drinking a lot of water, so I'm gonna run to the little pilot's room right quick, and I'll be right back. I've returned. I went ahead and grabbed myself another bottle of water because I'll probably be needing it. I'm sorry. I keep stalling, but one thing I remembered to mention is that I don't know how many of you have seen or aware that I post the VODs for my stream on my YouTube channel. I believe there's a link to that in my Twitch page if you're interested. But I went ahead and did a little redesigning of the thumbnails. So from now on, they're going to be color coded for ease of, deciphering through the stream archives. Like what's what, like what's music, what's gaming, what's voiceover. So, yeah, that's a neat little upgrade, if I do say so myself. And I'm definitely stalling for time because I'm not sure. I just hope this isn't gonna be like boring or anything for you guys to watch, but we'll see. Need a place to actually read the lines. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna press the record button. The metronome's gonna play, and then I'm gonna do like 3 or 4 or 5 takes. Blue in your chat, but it's yellowish when it pops up for you. Yeah, it's like generated client side, so everybody sees different colors, I believe. So I'm gonna do like 3 or 4, and then I'm gonna listen back to them and trim them down and choose which ones I like the best. So there are 4 lines for friendly on whole. I'm gonna keep them all on the same track. I suppose I should figure out what this guy sounds like first, though. Should we test out different voices with a written line, or should I just? Well, yeah, I should probably do that. What's a good line in here? Well, I mean, what am I talking about? I already have friendly on whole here. Yeah, test it out. Okay. And just to make this a little more interesting, I guess. If anybody in chat happens to be struck with inspiration for a line for any of these categories, then feel free to shoot it to me. You have nothing to lose, really. The number of lines I chose for each category is based on like how many there are in game. But if you have something that I think would work, you can go ahead and put it in the chat. Okay. Friendly pilot on the whole. 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 So, a challenge I'm immediately seeing here is making sure that it sounds even enough that it's a robot voice, but also that the cowboyism comes through. It's a small Titan, so it should probably be on the upper register, like friendly pilot on the whole. Friendly pilot on the whole. Maybe posture would help, right? Like I know that for auditions I did in the past, I would actually give myself like a prop if they had like a sword or something. Maybe I should find something that will stand in for like a revolver. Let me see if I have anything like that. I'm not seeing anything, chat. How about one of these? Keep it local. So like maybe friendly pilot on the whole. Friendly pilot on the whole. I do have a cowboy hat, don't I? I wish there was something more pistol-esque in here. Actually, would I even be allowed to do that on stream? Like hold something that looks like a pistol? Look at this, chat. I don't know. I don't know what that looks like on your end. Let me see. It doesn't fit on my head. It doesn't fit on my head with the microphone band. As long as you declare that it is fake. Well, I don't even have a fake pistol. I'm gonna take this off. I don't think it's gonna help. It's just gonna annoy me, if anything. Well, actually, how about this? Pew pew. This is not a gun. I hope everybody knows that this isn't a gun. This is in fact a wooden cactus hanger. But there's one in the shed. Maybe. Maybe. For context, the house I live in has a shed in the backyard. So, I don't know. It's not working. It's not. This one isn't working for me either. You know, they might be a robot AI voice, but I can still, move as if I am not a robot. You know what I mean? Like friendly pilot is on the friendly pilot is on the hull. Friendly pilot is on the hull. I need to put chat down here instead. There we go. On one hand, I wish I sorted this out before. But on the other, I guess this is part of the creative process, isn't it? I mean, that's the whole point. Because, well, friendly pilot on the whole. Friendly pilot on the whole. Friendly pilot on the whole. Like, should it be like a more, smooth talking sheriff or more bumpkin, you know? Well, if the backstory of this is sort of like somebody that's, interested in, or, you know, somebody that likes cowboys and the whole cowboy mythos, and they'd probably design it to be like the ideal sort of sheriff sounding character, right? Like, friendly pilot on the whole. Friendly pilot on the whole. You know what? Every time I say something that's not being recorded, I'm wasting a possible good line. They say you should always record everything. Gruff, rough, and takes no buff. Gruff, rough, and takes no buff. Partner. Partner. The thing is, I live in Texas, yet I obviously don't have a Texan accent. And, for those who don't live in Texas, the Texan accent is a little bit hyperbolic, a little stereotypical. I don't hear many people with the, welcome to Texas, partner. Like, there aren't many people like that where I live anyway. There's a friendly up there. What you doing up there, partner? Let's try some more. Friendly pilot on the whole. 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 Okay, that was a few there. Let's see if I like any of these. Actually, let's see if I actually can hear the fan. I don't know if I was recording the fan or not. I have a desk fan. The metronome. Let me turn that off. What are you doing up there, partner? What the pilot doing? Okay, where the ones where I emphasize the words, probably should take those out, just because that level of emphasis is not present in the other Titan operating systems. I mean, most of the time they are rather level. How do I take off the grid lines? There we go. So like these last three definitely. Oh, You can't hear the recording, like the playback. Okay. Why does it keep happening? I used to know how to cut all these properly. I'll just do that. Let me see here. The winner is definitely one of these four. But let me open my volume mixer. See if there's anything going on there. See, it's odd because it sounds, well, it's obviously going to sound exactly the same to me because it's coming through, it's coming through my headphones. It's interesting that you mentioned that the playback is quiet because whenever I would send in my auditions, or whenever I would listen to my auditions back before I sent them, they were always like too quiet for some reason. So I guess that's just something I need to fix here. I believe I had an effect here that would increase the gain. Or I guess not gain, but volume, right? Oh man, I've become so illiterate in Reaper after not using it for so long. Pain. Let me see. If I increase it for you, then it's going to be even louder for me, though. I mean, that sounds selfish, but I wish there was a way that I could. Well, actually, if I increase the desktop volume in OBS, then it will be louder for you, but no louder for me, theoretically. Oh, oops. I didn't realize that I did that to the chat. My apologies. Okay, tell me how this sounds now. Is that a better volume? Still sounds quiet. Sorry for the technical difficulties. I'm going to monitor the desktop audio while this plays. Is it? It's not even showing up. Like it's not being picked up by It's not being picked up by OBS. Like I'm not seeing any of the any like volume bars. Maybe what you're hearing is could that be it? Maybe what you're hearing is it coming from my headphones. Okay. Experiment time. I'm going to take my headphones off and put it right next to the microphone. You tell me if it's louder. Or actually, I'm going to move this farther away and you tell me if you can't hear it at all. Dang it. I need to put this somewhere else. Okay. You tell me if you can hear this. Could you hear that at all? If my theory is correct, then you shouldn't have heard anything. Yeah, okay. Well, that tells me that OBS isn't picking up the desktop audio like it should be. That is annoying. Okay, hold on. I don't have it muted. I wonder why this doesn't count as desktop audio. I'm gonna let this keep repeating. Properties. I hope you enjoy hearing me say that. Okay, you know what? I'm not gonna torch you. Let me stop that. Okay. Sweating in here. This, okay, I'm going to... I'm gonna like play a YouTube video or something to see if OBS picks that up. Well, now I need to find one that I can play on stream. Library. Okay, so it was picking up the YouTube, but so it should be picking up anything that I have on my desktop, which right now is Reaper. And when I play the Reaper, it should be picking up, but it's not. I wonder if I can Audio output. Maybe if I make a dedicated output, Reaper. Sorry you can't see this, but well, but only sends it to my headphones? Actually, you might be onto something there. Yeah. I might have to go into the settings of Reaper here. File. Edit. Preferences, perhaps. Recording. Media. Audio. Here's what. Oh no. Okay, so for some reason, going in. You can't hear me anymore, can you? Everything is just going wrong. I'm so sorry, everybody. I apologize. Whenever I go into the options menu, it cuts off my microphone. So I'm gonna go in to the options, and I'm gonna be as quick as I can so that you're not without my beautiful voice for too long. Okay. So here I go. I'm gonna be muted for a little bit, so my apologies. Or not. Okay. Playback. Repeat. Max MIDI. Settings. MIDI devices. Device. Okay. Now I'm muted. I'm back. You can hear my mouse clicks? How's that possible? You know, it may have actually been picking up my microphone. I just couldn't hear it. Maybe it just disabled my my headphones. That might be what it was. I'm not sure what settings to fool around with for this particular issue. So unfortunately, I'm just gonna have to ask to, or you're just gonna have to bear with the not being able to hear the playback. I will try to fix this issue for next time. Just put your head right up. Can you hear it? Actually, does that work? Let me see. How's that? Did you get out? Did you hear it? Well, you know what they say. Country boys make do. We're just gonna have to make do with that. No, that's stupid. That's stupid. I was gonna maybe like record like this with my headphones off. Okay, whatever. But the point is I after all of this, I've been thinking about which of these I like more, and I'm kind of leaning on 2. I think 2 is the best. I like the idea of having a slower delivery, a slower drawl. Except you have to consider, or I have to consider, that although this isn't going to be actually put into Titanfall 2, I think it's worth considering the limitations of lines like this, because they exist at the end of the day to deliver important information. So if you talk too slow, then that means like you have to wait through the extra second or two, or like the extra half second or second of the line to actually get to the important information. And in a game like Titanfall, that can be like too late, you know. But at the same time, again, it's not actually going to be implemented, so maybe I'm more free to do what I want. You said you liked 4? That sounds a little bit more cocky, doesn't it? I'm gonna stick with 2. That's not too slow. Like I was playing up the slowness of the draw, but that's not too slow. The audio file also looks like a plane. Uh, you know more about planes than I do, so I'll take your word for it. Doesn't look like much of a plane to me, but Maybe side profile. In that case, most of these are going to look like planes. So enjoy that, I suppose. Uh, One challenge I also have a lot of the time is keeping the voice consistent throughout the, like, especially if I'm doing it over a couple of days, is making sure every line sounds like the same voice, you know. Friendly pilot on the hull. That was cool, wasn't it? Oh my god. Why does my voice keep doing that, dude? I Okay, whatever. I'm sure you've heard it yourself many times. Is my voice cracking for no reason. Very annoying. Not sure why it happens. Okay. So let's do line number 2. At After about an hour, we're on the second line. Ally on our hull. 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 Why is it so much louder? You see how much bigger the waveforms are? Why are they so much bigger? I didn't add any gain. Hold on. I hit the chair there. Dang it. Um Oops. I remember there was a way to like make a split items. There it is. S. The cool thing about Reaper, you probably don't care. It doesn't really apply to you, but um, if you shorten these, then that stuff actually doesn't disappear. You can get it right back by expanding it out again. That's a really cool feature. I'm going to use this feature to what? To delete this because I know I don't like that one. Here, so that you guys can listen in. Ally on our hull. Ally on our hull. Ally on our hull. Ally on our hull. No, don't like that one. Ally on our hull. Ally on our hull. Ally on our hull. Did you hear that? Hear that, chat? Our impromptu solution, is it working? I'm thinking that this one is probably my favorite so far. It doesn't have any extraneous like rasp or sounds in the background. I think it sounds similar to that one. I think it's on character. These I kind of just I was just experimenting. It you might as well just try stuff. Let's hear this one again. Something about it sounds like it like ends fast. That's kind of strange. It's so much louder. I I guess I was just closer to the microphone or something. I was probably like standing over here and then got up here. I can equalize that later, hopefully. Last one ain't bad though. Let me hear that one again. We'll compare them back to back. Personally to me, it doesn't sound as clear to me. It sounds like I'm slurring a little bit too much there. Which is a shame because other than that, I would put that as a contender. Okay. Oops. Hello. Okay, whatever. I'll just undo it. Or not. What? I want to. I want to remove this. Let me delete it. Come on. Just go away. What is this, amateur hour? Come on. It was working fine just before, wasn't it? It does not want to die. No, it does not. It's got the will to survive. Well, I can't delete that one either. Whoa, whoa, whoa. What is happening? What have I done? Okay. Now I can click on these. I think it was like still recording or something. That was really odd. Okay. Let's try this again. Come on. Is it recording or is it not? Okay. No, stop! I know how to use this program, I swear. Okay. Now it should work, right? Metronome. Yeah. Nothing changed. It's not leading me in. I want it to lead me in. Whatever. Friendly pilot hitching a ride. 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 Dang it. No, undo that. No. Wait, can I, okay. Thank goodness. What the? Oh my god, dude. What is going on? Is that still fine? Okay. Stop. Okay. I think the issue was I wasn't hitting the stop button. I was hitting the unpause button. It was like looping back around and recording over stuff. And this needs to be like huge, or else I'll accidentally record over myself. Shame, those are good takes too. Okay. Friendly pilot hitching a ride. 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 There we go. Alright, now I know how to record properly. Now I know how to do the basic functions. Good takes there, I think. I felt pretty good about those. Okay, let's hear him back. Friendly pilot hitching a ride. Actually, hold on. Let me actually have like something here so I can note which ones that I like and which ones that I don't. It would help if you heard it too, wouldn't it?
Friendly pilot hitching a ride. 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 Friendly pilot hitching a ride.
Okay. So, this is definitely helpful. I like 1, 3, and 5, definitely. I don't like 2. I don't like 7. Wait a second, what did I just do? I just said I liked 1. Let me split these apart. One, 2, delete 2. I like 3. I'm iffy on 4. I like 5. Iffy on 6, and I don't like 7. This will be so much easier when you can actually hear the playback without me having to do this scuffed method. So I want to listen back to this one and this one, because I'm kind of on the fence about these.
Friendly pilot hitching a ride. Friendly pilot hitching a ride.
Yeah, I think that has too much intonation.
Friendly pilot hitching a ride. Friendly pilot hitching a ride.
Friendly pilot hitching a ride. I don't know, that does sound weird to me though. Delete. Okay, so it's just these 3. These are the good ones.
Friendly pilot hitching a ride. 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 Friendly pilot hitching a ride.
I know which one that I like the most. I'd like to hear opinions though, if you have them. Well, actually, I'm kind of flip-flopping. One with no doubt, and if anyone says different, they have 0 IQ. Dude, that's a little harsh, don't you think?
Friendly pilot hitching a ride. Friendly pilot hitching a
For me, it's down to one or two. I can't decide which one I like most, though. Hmm. It's a tough one. You like how two ends, but the way it begins makes me feel pathetic? What does that mean?
Friendly pilot hitching a ride. 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 Friendly pilot hitching a ride.
I think I prefer the way one says hitching. I know that sounds like a dumb, nitpicky thing, but it's really kind of close for me. I think, and I think overall, in terms of like which one we should choose, it should always be the one that is more level, I guess. Because we have to keep remembering that this is a robot AI and not an actual cowboy. What I'm trying to convey is that it doesn't sound consistent. Like, oh yeah, I'm cool, and then it's like, oh, never mind, I'm actually hot. Wait, what do you mean? Are you talking about this? Are you talking about this line? Like this particular line? Or are you talking about all the lines so far?
Pilot hitching a ride. Friendly pilot hitching a ride.
I know what I'm talking about. Have a PhD in voiceoverology. Right, yeah. I forget that sometimes. I'm gonna stick with one for now. All right. Line number 4 of. Hold on, actually, I wrote it down. There are 164 lines total. So at this rate, we'll be done in about a year. I really do need to pick up the pace. Well, a lot of our time was kind of spent doing other things this stream. But now that the kinks are worked out, we can probably get these done pretty good. Ally riding along. 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 There's a weird growl at the end there. The kinks were not worked out. Hey, I'll figure it out by next stream, hopefully, probably. Let's hear these.
Ally riding along. Ally riding along.
No,
Ally riding along.
no.
Ally riding along. Ally riding along. Ally riding along. Ally riding along.
So I think there is only like one or two solid takes that I like there. Second to last? Really? Let me see.
Ally riding along.
He sounds annoyed. he just sounds irritated that his teammate is rodeoing him. Which is not what I'm going for. It is kind of funny, but definitely not consistent with the character. So we'll reduce it to these four. Robot sounds like he has had enough of these dang humans. These dang pilots. I hate them all. Non-sexually. Nobody was thinking that, Captain. But, you know. Better safe than sorry, I guess. I was considering number 4. Let's hear it.
Ally riding along. 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 Ally riding along.
Cause I wanted to experiment with having a pause, like a comma there, like ally riding along, ally riding along. I think it I think it sounds better as one continuous phrase though. I think I'll go with one. Maybe a longer pause. Ally riding along. Just a solid 2 seconds of nothing. Delete. I'm actually listening back to this one.
Ally riding along. Ally riding along. Ally riding along. Ally riding along. Ally riding along.
Actually,
Ally riding along. Ally riding along.
2 sounds the clearest to me. I feel you know those optometrist tests where it's like, which one is clearer, 1 or 2, 1 or 2. That's what I feel like right now. Okay, so now we have this. Hopefully these all sound consistent with each other, other than this volume thing.
Friendly pilot on the hole. Ally on our hole. Friendly pilot hitching a ride. Ally riding along.
I think that sounds more or less consistent. I like that set. Good first set, everybody. We made it. We made it. Solo this. So this solo button makes it so that only this one is getting recorded. Okay, boomer? Why would you say that to me? I'm not a boomer, dude. Maybe in a few more years I'll be a boomer, but not yet. What did I even say? I don't even remember what I said to provoke an okay boomer. Okay. I'm sorry. I have to BRB again. I know I have to drink plenty of water, but this is getting ridiculous. Maybe I need to tone it back a little bit. Okay. BRB, everybody. I'm back. Oops. I definitely need to slow down on this water. I only buy 1 carton per shopping trip. I'm gonna be out by the end of the week. By the end of the middle of the week. If I keep this rate up. Should Ronin it back a little bit. I get it. I get it. It's like because tone is a titan, and yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, so friendly on turret, is unique to Warhorse because no other titan in the game has a top mounted turret on it, which is a shame. It would be kind of sick, but regardless. Ally on our turret. 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 Barrack. Hunker down. Sorry. Just been playing a little bit of Paladins lately. Okay. Let's give it the old listen through. Throwing something a bishop from chess? Oh, it looks like a bishop. Doesn't sound like a bishop. I was wondering how, like, you knew that. Like, what, the chess DLC drop or something that I didn't know about? Okay, let's hear it.
Ally on our turret. 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 Ally on our turret.
It's the three middle ones for me. Take away these last two. Let's focus on these. Turret is a funny word, isn't it? If you say it enough. Turret. 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 There.
Ally on our turret. Ally on our turret. Ally on our turret. Ally on our turret. Ally on our turret.
The last one kind of has a sing-song in it to ally on our turret. Bah. Though I think I prefer the slower delivery of the first two.
Ally on our turret. Ally on our turret. Ally on our turret. Ally on our turret. Ally on our turret.
Reduce that to nothing.
Ally on our turret. Ally on our turret. Ally on our turret. Ally on our turret.
The second one is definitely clearer. Heard some slurage on the first one that I wasn't a fan of. This survives. Ally on the gun. Ally on the gun. Ally on the gun. Ally on the gun. Dang it. Shoot. I keep forgetting about this freaking gray box thingy. Ally on the gun. Okay. Ally on the gun. 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 Seven. That's 7 in a row.
Ally on the gun. 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 Ally on the gun.
I'll take you. Split. Split here. Delete that. Split you guys. Okay. Here's what we're working with. Why are we pogging? What happened? Yeah, I was gonna make a joke like, did something happen behind me? I need to just like staple this freaking thing to the wall. How many times it's fallen down off my backdrop here. You did this, Captain. You did this. I'll fix that later.
Ally on the gun. 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 Ally on the gun.
Hmm.
Ally on the gun. Ally on the gun. Ally on the gun.
I need to stop doing like the pauses. Cause I always whenever I listen back to them, I'm always like, yeah, I don't like that as much. I think there's a solid take though. And we're actually close to the end of the stream. This seems like a good a place as any to end it. I need to make a new folder. Try to spell horse correctly. Save. Save project. Why are we Craigasming? What are you talking about? Are you watching a separate stream on a different screen or something? You're making me a little nervous. Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah, I kind of forgot I need to have Reaper open in order for you to actually hear me. So I'll close that after the stream. You're hoping I do something else? Like, oh man, I sure hope this panel doesn't fall on my head. Curse you. All right. So, we learned some things today. I learned that I need to figure out some audio issues. Let me write that down. Output in OBS. I think we've worked out most of the growing pains, so to speak, of this project. We have a pattern now that we can work on. I know what he sounds like. I know how to record and stop recording properly. I just need to get that freaking audio issue figured out so I don't have to do that every time. I want you guys to hear the playback. So this was a bit of a rough stream today. I apologize for all of the issues that we encountered, but I thank every one of you for stopping by, hanging out, supporting me by watching the stream. I hope you got some enjoyment out of it. And if you did, I would love to have you back on Wednesday, same time, where we can actually get this ball rolling and hopefully have all the technical difficulties worked out. So, with that said, thank you all very much for watching, and I wish you all a good evening, or a good afternoon, or a good morning. I don't know where you guys are. All right. Goodbye, everybody. Till next time.